Hello summoners and welcome back to the Mobalytics patch 8.13 video tier list. This patch we've seen some fine tuning to a few things. Crit itemization has also received a nice little buff because crit AD carries, specifically things like Tristana and Caitlyn, were so bad on the previous patch that they were able to get a little bit of love. We've seen a few new things in the support S tier role, a few new mid laners as well. Seen a few new picks popping up, things like Heimerdinger. Rageblade was nerfed on this patch as well, meaning things like Kai'Sa and Varus will be down a tier. And finally, better nerf Irelia has come through, so let's get into the tier list. Starting off in the top lane, Singed has been nerfed. We've seen a few other champions get nerfed and knocked down just a little bit, like Mundo. Darius has popped down because statistically speaking, he's not able to keep up with the other top laners. While it's true that he is the most picked and most played top laner, in the past we've seen things like Gangplank or Singed, when they are the most picked top laner, are typically able to keep up and above a 50% win rate. But for whatever reason, Darius is slightly lower, so he's still a great champion and we recommend him, but he has fallen out of S tier. Kled has finally made his way into S tier, replacing some of the other bruisers, and the reason this guy is here is because he's absolutely insane. He finally saw some competitive play this week as well from Khan in the LCK. This champion statistically, his one tricks, all around the board, he's doing very well, and for whatever reason, people just don't like playing him. There's no real reason why he shouldn't be played, and he has a low play rate. He's a great roamer, he's good in lane, he can snowball effectively, win 1v2s. When it comes to being a fighter in the top lane, there are almost no downsides to Kled whatsoever. We recommend you learn how to play him and carry with him. The rest of top lane is pretty stable compared to previous patches. Gangplank goes down due to crit itemization being overall worse than it was before the rework, and the Sterix Gauge Trinity Force interaction being worse for him as well. Lastly, Aatrox has moved his way out of S tier and is not on the list due to his rework. The previous version of Aatrox was very strong in seeing a lot of competitive high elo and solo queue play, but this version has no stats yet, so here at Mobalytics, when a champion first gets reworked or released, we do not put them on the tier list, but if Aatrox is a good champion, you'll definitely see him next time. For the jungle role, the S tier doesn't have any mix-up aside from inserting Nocturne now into S tier. What I really like about the jungle role is, aside from the S tier junglers being quite a bit oppressive, if some of them are banned or not picked, a lot of the A and B tier junglers are very viable and definitely playable. A great example is Evelynn. Right now she's a good champion and she's not quite S tier, but she's absolutely somebody that you can carry and win solo queue games with. Another jungler that has been A tier for a few patches and eventually is just going to be S tier is Kindred. With enough nerfs to OP champions and OP S tier champions and enough buffs to Kindred, eventually this champion is just going to be God tier and there's no stopping it. If Riot continues to buff the champion 3, 4, 5 times, well, Kindred is going to be really, really good. The only thing that really hurts Kindred is the early game Scuttle Crab contesting around level 2 and 3. It's kind of hard. It's not exactly easy to contest them, but if you're able to get through that part of the game and get the snowball rolling, get your marks, the champion is solid. For the middle lane, Zed and Anivia have finally slotted themselves into S tier, which we'll get into in a second. Zoe is still here, Twisted Fate is still here, Aurelion Sol, Talon, all of our friends who like to roam a lot and impact the map, especially in this early to mid game meta, they are all very good and there's no reason not to pick them. Anivia is in S tier because even though you think, yeah, Anivia is a late game scaling champion, which by all means she really is, due to some buffs that she received as well as taking Ignite, Anivia's early game is a lot stronger than people think. Around level 2, level 3, if you get hit by a QE combo, you're going to lose half your health. On top of all of that, she has amazing wave clear, so if you do want to stall out the game, when everybody is picking these melee champions, Anivia becomes even better. Due to the nerfs, Irelia has dropped from S to A tier in mid lane, and she's still a really good mid lane champion, but overall slightly weaker than before. As far as the rest of the A tier pool, all of these things are really good. Don't underestimate how good Lux, Malzahar, Nocturne, and LeBlanc are. And Sejuani is meant to be here, don't worry about that. There is a new Sejuani build popping up where they build Abyssal Mask, and you're kind of like Galio, you're like the new Galio of mid lane. I recommend you to look into it. We'll talk about it maybe next week if it's still doing really well. But yeah, go ahead, go look into it. Bjergsen's been playing it a little bit, Jensen's been playing it, so go check it out. Onto the bot lane carry role, where everybody's favorite fire mage, Brand, has made his way into S tier. For 8.12, we did see a small calm down in the new meta, and people were still playing things like Kaisa a lot, but due to the Rageblade nerfs, things like Kaisa and Varus are going to be quite a bit weaker, so maybe on this patch people will play even more bruisers and mages in this role. Things like Quinn and Jinx are good traditional AD carries, and Jhin got his bug fixed with Stormrazor, which means that Jhin is quite good as well. For Brand, he's S tier in both bot lane carry and the support role, and he is just insane. The reason Brand is S tier in both of the roles for bot lane, but he's not really like an A tier or B tier mid laner, is because Brand has 2 people to hit bot lane. It's kind of as simple as that. You have the ability to bounce, you have a better laning phase, you're less likely to be ganked. It's easier for you to turn 1v2s or 2v3s in the bot lane than it would be in mid lane. And Brand just accelerates the game so much, the poke is so disgusting in the bottom lane that he's S tier for both. For your melees and non-traditional stuff, things like Yasuo, Mordekaiser, Irelia, Swain, and Ziggs are all still good as well. Finally, last but not least, onto the support role, where we see 2 new faces in S tier in Bard and Brand. For A and B tier, a few engaged supports are quite good, things like Leona, Gragas, Alistar, and Braum. Janna is struggling compared to the other enchanters due to the direct nerfs, and she really crutched on that Ardent Sensor. Things like Soraka and Sona didn't crutch as much. And for Pyke, he is an A tier and we have him as a severe learning curve. Right now I think he's just a little bit too new and people are struggling to really play him to maximum effectiveness, but I think in 2 to 3 months time, or maybe even shorter than that, we will absolutely see him in S tier and he is a good support. It's just going to take more time because he's so new. As to answer your question, why is Bard in S tier? Well, statistically speaking, he's doing very well. There are a lot of people in high elo doing well with him in climbing, and funny enough, there's a new build that you need to try. Hail of Blades Bard has been popping up and is absolutely insane, plus Hail of Blades did get buffed on this patch. Hail of Blades makes so much sense on Bard because you're always able to get those Meeps autos and you don't really rely on the ability to electrocute. Yeah, you lose a little bit of burst, but you're always going to get your Meep autos. Hail of Blades being buffed, which means that Bard already doing well is just going to be even better. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the Mobalytics patch 8.13 video tier list. Follow us on all of our socials and check out the product at mobalytics.gg.